I'm Sam Callis, and I played Adam Benjamin. I auditioned for it when it was like a fairly long-winded audition process, as I remember, about 3 or 4 rounds of auditions. I'd just been doing a lot of theatre up to that point, so it was one of my first TV jobs. But it seemed to go very well, and then then I got the part really. So it was fairly, yeah, it was a fairly simple process in terms of, I think it was 3 rounds of auditions in the end. You get called, you do your first one, and then you get called back and get called back as the numbers of people get narrowed down. And then it's just between you and a couple of other people, and I was lucky enough to get it. I don't think I can remember my first one. I remember a lot of them. Uh, the In the first series, they tended to be a bit bigger. I think the budget, they had more of a budget in the first series, and I think the first one, or one of the first ones, was in a hospital fire. I seem to remember a massive hospital fire, and they actually set fire to most of a building to do it. I mean, did the exteriors of it. It was an old building, I think, that was going to be demolished, and it was an old Victorian building or something like that. And I remember thinking that it was, how exciting it was, and how much fun it was to be part of that. And there were lots of other things like that that were very exciting, but that was one of them. And they were a lovely bunch of actors, and I really felt very blessed to be working on it. Yeah, I think you might. Whether that was the first or not, I don't know whether, but that was, yeah. Oh, I think we went. Maybe we even built a house on a burn stage for that. They used to have these warehouses, this big burn stage. What was called a burn stage. It's basically like a massive warehouse where they then build the set inside there and then set fire to it, essentially, and then you get to go in it, and it's great fun. I mean, it's kind of scary, but great fun. I mean, that was the whole thing about that job. Actually, it was kind of scary, but great fun. I cured my fear of heights on that job. I was scared of heights before I did London's Burning, and then I had to do a thing up on a turntable ladder, getting people off the top of a block of flats, and it was on the stand, and you were tied in and everything. But then the hydraulics started going a bit weird, and it hit the edge of the block of flats, and the platform I stood on collapsed underneath, just disappeared underneath. And I was like that. I was left there, but we're still filming. The cameras are still rolling, and I had to just carry on doing this dialogue. And I just thought, at the end of it, I never had any problem with heights again after that, which is weird because you think it might go the other way, but because I was already scared of heights, it just disappeared. So now I'm absolutely fine up a ladder. The studio filming was a place called 3 Mill Studios over in East London. And so that was all the interiors of the station were there. All the exteriors were all over, really. I mean, in Hackney, Leytonstone, all around those kind of areas, actually. Yeah, and the Elephant and Castle, I think, was one of them as well. Down, we weren't even as far as there, but generally it was all around that kind of part of London. I remember driving down Hackney High Street. I was driving the appliance with the lights on at about 50 miles an hour, everyone getting out of the way. I remember thinking, I was only like 25, 20, 26, 25, 25, 26. I just thought it was absolutely amazing. I wasn't quite sure how we were getting away with doing it, but they said it's all right. There's a insurance wise we're fine because there's a fireman lying down behind the seats behind you. I just remember thinking, okay, fine, but it was great fun though. Everyone pulling out of the way. It was like, I always tell my kids about that. And they're like, what? I said, yeah, I get to drive it properly, and they're like, properly driving it as well. Yeah, that was good. No, he didn't have a nickname, Adam. He was just Adam. He was, you know, he was. I quite liked him as a character. He wasn't the brightest, the sharpest knife in the drawer, but he was a, you know, was a bit of a chancer, but a nice guy, and I did enjoy being him. I quite liked him. Sometimes thought I just quite like him to have a little bit more nous, but it was, yeah, he was good fun to play, and he was so nice that when you play a character like that, you know, you spend that. I think it was 2 years or so, maybe 2.5 years in total with him. He was a nice person to hang around with, you know, and I think was probably quite representative of a lot of firefighters. It felt like he was anyway. And a lot of the firefighters I met, who were all, to a man and woman, lovely people. Yeah, yeah, he was. No, he didn't have a nickname though. Or maybe he did. You tell me. I might have forgotten. Lovely. Everyone was really sweet and really nice, and it was never hard work. It wasn't one of those jobs where you just don't get on with everyone. Everyone got on really, really, as far as I knew, got on really, really well. I was still in contact with from a second series where Terry Alderton and Tristan Gemmell were on. I'm still in contact with both of those guys. Connor. I haven't seen for a while, but I hope as well. Yeah, we were, you know, friends and everything. But yeah, no, it was very easy, and actually, Michael was lovely. It was nice actually. Everyone was very supportive when he came on, and you know, helpful and because obviously, like as you say, people have been on the series for a while. They know exactly what they're doing, and you're coming in going, or, especially as one of my first, wasn't my first TV job, but one of the first ones. So I was learning as I was doing it, and they were all very supportive for that. Yeah. Yeah, that was lovely. I mean, that was nice to have a TV mum. Yeah, really nice, really nice. That was a good storyline, actually. I think. I mean, you're going to have to remind me of a lot of this. I hadn't seen this for a long time. This show, but it was. I remember that being. People seemed to really enjoy that relationship, and I felt very protective of her on and off set. But she was quite feisty she's quite a feisty person, so she was well able to look out for herself. In fact, I think she taught me how to do my VAT and all that sort of stuff. She was very, she was, yeah, she was great. It was a good. She sort of looked at. I think she probably mothered me a bit, anyway, on and off set. Yeah. We filmed that. Where was that? It was filmed at Three Mills. Yeah, that set was in Three Mills Studios. Yeah, I mean that was. I don't think I actually had. I think in the second series there was more stuff in there for me. It doesn't stick in my mind as the most interesting, exciting part of the experience, though. If I'm honest about being in the pub, that sort of is blended with all the other pub scenes I've done in different series. But no, that was yeah, it was good for a laugh. I remember playing pool. Played pool. I think it was I met some. We used to play pool a lot then we would do the scenes, and we would always try and get the scene to be around the pool table, so we just play pool. So, you know, basically. Yeah, we did a fair bit of training. I didn't get to do they would do a thing where they'd send everyone down to the fire. I can't remember where it is now. There's a big place outside London where people train to be firefighters. But we didn't get to go down there, but we did lots of other training around the shoot. And so you'd have to get your basic HGV license, so you could drive the appliance. And then with all the breathing apparatus, you'd learn how to use all that, and the hoses, obviously, and so you'd know how to do all of it to a point, anyway, so well enough so that it looked right on camera. The breathing apparatus was obviously the most fun bit. That's the only, especially when you get to wear it in a shooting situation where you're in there's actually smoke and everything involved, and you're getting just a slight taste of what it's like. We would do that time with, with the one that springs to mind is that on the burn stage, setting fire to a house. They built the whole house inside this burn stage, two-story thing, and then they've put gas points in it, which so it gives the illusion that it's on fire. But eventually, the set does catch fire because it's just getting so hot. So as you're filming in there, and you've got all your gear on, and you're like, as you're going around shooting it, but aware of where the camera is and doing all that. And then at some point, when the set catches fire, you've got all the white smoke of the gas fires, which are all special effect fires. And then when the set actually catches fire, you get the black smoke just drops down like that, and then but you're all kind of buzzed up on adrenaline, so you're still going for it, and then you just get this big hand on your shoulder, which just drags you out. The advisor was a man called Roger Kendall, a great big lump of a man, lovely guy, really nice guy, and yeah, he just sort of drag you out of the set before you got caught up in a real fire. It was yeah, that was great. I loved that. And I felt you kind of felt like, but what struck me most was I remember thinking, wow, that's why I love firemen, firefighters, is that they're all so brave. I mean, really, I don't mean that as a platitude. They really are. I mean, you put yourself into a burning building and try and save other people. That's an amazing thing to do. So I was always struck by that, thinking, oh, I'm just pretending at it. Just pretending. Mm. I had quite a good storyline with Tristan in the second series, where he was, he sort of tricked me into buying stuff, and I think I got into debt with him, and I can't remember the exact episode, but that was quite a good relationship. I thought he was much sort of tougher and harder than Adam was. Adam was a bit naive. Those storylines with him were good, and I think the ones that I really enjoyed were the ones where I was allowed to do lots of action. That's what I really loved about the show. I mean, that was the first series. It really was like an action drama. There wasn't too much in the way of story other than the shout, which was always, who just felt great. I think I had one storyline with a girl, my neighbor, who tried to commit suicide, and I had to save her and pull her out of the bath, which is, that was nice, emotional, gave it emotional range, and that was good to, and interesting to do as an actor. But, but the ones where we would, the set, they rebuilt a motorway tunnel inside a studio, massive thing with overturned petrol tankers, and you think, and I mean, it was massive. Actually, I think about it, was hugely expensive. Those are the ones that really stand out. Those moments of filming that, rather than necessarily a storyline, where you think, well, Christ, it was lovely to be involved with that, like running towards it as a oil tanker blows up. I mean, that's great fun. I mean, that's the other time we were filming a block of flats, and there was going to be a gas explosion in this flat, and so they rig it all, and they said there's going to be a bit of an explosion out the windows. This is on like the 12th floor, and we're down on the ground filming it up there, and then when they do the big countdown, they blow it up, and then they must have blown out about 4 floors worth of windows when they're only supposed to blow out one. And this massive fireball comes out of the side of this building and barrels down, starts coming down the building, and sets fire to about 4 trees in the park. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, but it looked amazing. But you were like, all right, okay, I'm glad nobody was up there and in that. But those sort of moments, you think, well, I'm just very lucky to have done that, really, because I don't know that you get to do stuff like that in that way anyway now. I thought Heather Peace's character was really good. I thought she was really good in it. And actually, probably Michael Garner's character, actually, if I'm honest, he was well drawn. He's such a good actor that his character was a bit of a prick. Well, proper. And I think he played it really well, because he's not like that at all. And I think that's, probably the most well-defined character of all of them, I would say, was probably Mike's character. Poison? No, Poison. Is it Poison?
Yeah.
Well remembered, Sam. I would definitely not have been a policeman. Well, my wife thinks I would have been quite a good one. I would love to have been a fireman had I gone into the services. I would have done that. I think it's just everyone I met was lovely in it. I mean, just nice, decent, really properly decent people. So that's what, if I was actually to do that in real life, then, like, if my son turned around to me and said he wanted to be a firefighter, I'd be very proud of that. In terms of playing in that, I think that the character in the bill of Sergeant Stone was probably more interesting to play because he was unpleasant, and that's quite, it's in some ways a bit more fun to play those kind of people. You can get away with more, you do, you know, whereas if you're a nice decent person, you actually don't get away with as much to play, even though on screen it's actually, you know, it's a you know, nice character, Madam. In terms of the actual, like, the action and the stunts of it, definitely London's Burning, because it was just a joy to do that stuff. And I've, you know, just the stuff you would do was, you know, it was great. Every day was a fun day on that. And later I had a good time with the bill as well, but it was much less action. Yeah, I'd say so. On balance, probably just playing, just going to work and getting to play around with appliances and go up ladders and hoses and stuff. I mean, that's got to win, hasn't it? We'd have loads of times where you corpse and you wouldn't be able to stop laughing. That happened a lot. And that is always fun with people to do that. Not for anybody else apart from the people who are doing it, of course, but any other? No, I've talked about all those. No, I haven't got any. I can't think of any other ones apart from. I mean, those are the ones. Those sort of action moments are the ones that really stand out to me. And yeah, like this motor. I still speak to the director of the one I said about the motorway service. I think that cost like £1.5 million or something for 2 episodes. I mean, massive amounts of money for something. Huge set. I mean, people, you're on a set that big, and you know, it's just that in itself is just kind of inspiring, because you then have the responsibility to get it right, and because you know there's a lot of money. I mean, you shoot the first one on film, so there was all the elements of shooting on film rather than on video, where everyone's very focused. Not that people aren't focused on shooting on video, but actually, when you actually have physical film going through a camera and there's a limited amount to it, everybody has to get it right. But yeah.